What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. Got a review for you. Let's get into it. All right, guys, got a new model coming in from CJRB that I'm very excited to check out, but it's a variant of an existing model, so let's take a look at it. We have the CJRB Pyrite BOWIE. So this BOWIE here in particular is a little different from the standard version of the Pyrite. You do have the ebony wood here inlays on top of the stainless steel bolsters and stainless steel liners that have been hollowed out for weight reduction, and you have a BOWIE blade shape here. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to do size comparisons, profile, weight, and check the knife out. Then we'll jump into thoughts and impressions. Let's go ahead and start it off with a couple of size comparisons. Okay, we got a couple on the table here. What we're looking at is the Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight and the Spyderco Manix 2 Lightweight, both with the Applied Weapon Tech scales. And as you can see, the BOWIE Pyrite is more of your smaller EDC, coming in even smaller than your Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight. Let's check out a couple more. All right, guys, I have on the table a couple of Voss steeds. On the bottom, we have the Hedgehog. On the top, we have the Psyop. And I really think that the BOWIE Pyrite is very comparable to the Hedgehog. There may be a little bit more length there, but very comparable. Let's look at the close profile. All right, here they are closed up on the table, and as you can see, as far as carry close profile, it is kind of in between the Para 3 and the Hedgehog. And then as far as thickness goes, it is very comparable to the Hedgehog. As you can see, similar thickness on the two, and as far as the Para 3 Lightweight, very similar thickness as well. So very good carry profile. Let's grab the scale and check the weight on this one out. Scale out and on. Let's check out the weight on this one. It has a lot of steel, so I'm thinking it's going to be over 4 ounces. That is very surprising. It feels heavier than that 3.4 ounces would look. All right, let's go ahead and move the scale out of the way and jump into the review. All right, so we're going to start it off talking about the cutting that I did down in the garage. The RPM 9 felt like it had definitely been tested and used throughout the pass around. It came back a little jagged, but it dropped right up when I was done. Ergonomically, very comfortable. 3.5 finger grip, not a lot here as far as hot spots. I do feel the pocket clip here where it hangs off the back a little bit. And that's only because of the fact that it's a little small. So I do kind of feel it digging into my pinky for me personally because it is a smaller knife. Outside of that, you can kind of feel where the liners stand proud, and I don't have an issue with that because sometimes if you do it when it's flush and you don't get it right, it's not quite right. So it's merely just the presence. The actual liners themselves are chamfered nicely there and fairly comfortable. Now for long periods of cutting or extended periods of cutting, you may notice that a little bit more, but for me, the little bit of cutting and testing that I was able to do with this one, no issues. The RPM 9 has a polished machine satin finish. Looks good. Nice thin flat grind underneath the fuller here, and it moved through the material very nicely. It does have this sharpening tool here. You can with smaller hands, I feel like, use that as a choke up point, but for me it puts me really close to the blade's edge, so I'm not quite comfortable for that. So for me, this is the grip that I'm most comfortable in, and again, it is 3.5 fingers for me personally. You got a deep carry steel pocket clip here. It goes all the way deep, but they did not make it reversible, and I think they probably did that because this one here is a little bit more of a fancier version with the ebony wood. They also got a lanyard hole here for those that are interested in that sort of thing. Don't know that you'll be able to see this really well, but let's take a look at the liners. You can see they are hollowed out for weight reduction on both sides. So that is probably how they get that 3.4 ounces. And it's also probably because it is a little bit of a smaller knife that they're able to keep it under 4. I think if this was any larger and more accommodating for larger hands, it probably would weigh a little bit more. This particular version has a pretty heavy amount of button stick on it. It comes and goes though, which makes me think that if this were to be disassembled and cleaned, any potential oil that might be on the button or any debris or dust or anything like that that might be on the button would probably go away. As far as detent though, it's dialed very nicely. This is one of the nicer plunge locks that I've found out there. Even using the fuller with the reverse flick feels pretty good. Very snappy indeed. I can't do any sort of spine whack testing on this one, but I've done them on the CJRBs, and all the examples that I have encountered have really stood up well to those spine whack tests. I do like the fact that this has the stamped ceramic bearings in here as well. Very nice snappy action. No side to side. No lock rock. So it's a very solid example. I do like RPM 9 a lot too, because I feel like it holds its edge, its fine edge, a little bit longer than 14C28N. It has good toughness. It performs better than just your 9CR 18 MOV. RPM 9 is a little bit of a hybrid mix here. So you're getting a little bit of a hardened steel, a little bit of a harder steel than you would if it was just actually 9CR 18 MOV. So I do like that they do ingot and forged. So, you know, that hybrid method of making the steel really makes this one shine a lot. It is a very well done model. I like the Pyrite. I just, you know, for me, it's a little bit too small. So I have a couple of alternative recommendations. First, straight out from CJRB is actually going to be the Echo. For me, I really like the size of the Echo. It's a little bit of a bigger knife. The design allows for you to get all 4 fingers on here. It has a little bit of a thicker handle too, so it's a little bit nicer ergonomically. And you get more cutting edge and more blade with the Echo. So I understand the Pyrite's very popular, and I think that has to do with the fact that it's a great price point. You're getting fantastic materials for money, and it was the first one to come to the market. But I really think that if the Echo had come here first, I think that would be a little bit more popular. For me, I'm able to really easily just get all 4 fingers on here if I share the scallop section here for the index, and even using the index finger, it's still, I'm 3 3/4 fingers onto the actual handle, but I'm not hanging off as much, and because it's flat and it's not this rounded out section here, it still feels very comfortable in hand. Plus, I like the fact that they use the titanium pocket clip here instead of the steel fold over. It makes a huge difference. Also, I prefer the opening hole front flipper over the thumb studs and fuller. For me, I like that a lot more. And you're also on this one getting slightly contoured instead of flat scales. On this one here, it's chamfered, so it feels comfortable in hand, but the scales themselves are actually flat, whereas you get a slight contour on the Echo. So if you're looking at something that is a button lock from CJRB, I would recommend the Echo, unless you just absolutely prefer the looks of the Pyrite over it. And then at the same price point, one that really excites me is this model that is a new release from Kaiser. This is the Mini Grouper. You're getting Nitro V steel, which is very competitive. You're getting G10 with twilled carbon fiber onlay on this one here. And as you can see, that actually creates some texturing because they didn't sand it smooth. They left that ribbing that you get from the weave carbon fiber on here, so that is nice that you get that grip. It is reversible in this instance, which is nice, and then you get a flipper tab and a thumb stud, but the main party piece is going to be the fact that they have the Spyderco style compression lock with the button here, so you actually get a detent ball and you get a very solid lock system. And the reason it's so solid is because the top of the lock is being pushed down by the stop pin, and then the bottom of the lock is being pushed up by the blade, so that really just locks it into a position that makes it a lot stronger than just having that plunge lock being pushed out by a spring. This one here coming in at 60, which I think is ultra competitive with the Pyrite. And then for me, I'm able to, very similar to the Echo, get nearly 4 fingers on there. I hang off the back just a little bit because it is contoured. The ergos are a little bit more friendly for me, and the jimping really good. And you got like this style blade, which is really great for your working style profile. It's going to trap the materials and keep it from sliding out on you. Outside of those two, you know, the Pyrite continues to be a knife that CJRB does very well, and they got a ton of variants of them out there, so it's easy to recommend this knife. And if you already have it, you can rest assured that it was a solid purchase in my opinion. Let me know what you think about the Pyrite, this particular version in particular, in the comments down below, or just let me know what you're carrying in your pockets today. Leave that comment down below, and on your way, make sure you hit that like button. It does help the channel. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along. Thanks, and a special thank you to my channel members out there for that extra layer of loyal support. It really does help the channel. You guys make a huge difference, and I thank you for that. I hope you all have a fantastic week. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.